Southwest Florida right now, things looking pretty good. But again, we have been tracking Dorian for the past several days now. The latest update on this cone from the National Hurricane Center does have it shift a bit to the west toward the east coast of Florida. This doesn't surprise me at all because it is expected to have a slow forward speed over the next couple of days after we get through a Sunday. Now, we'll show you a close-up version, and you can see Category 4 storm all the way through Tuesday morning into Tuesday afternoon, and then it takes a sharp turn to the north. So again, we are expecting this to go around a ridge that will be weakening in the Atlantic. The question is, when will it weaken and by how much? And it does look like it'll weaken fast enough that it should make that turn before it hits the east and southeast coast of Florida. That is good news, and that is what I expected over the past few days. I have noticed that model runs 5 to 7 days out tend to amplify that high pressure, and then when we get closer to the actual time period, it's a little bit weaker than what the models expected. So that's why the cone has shifted well to the east over the past several days. But again, it has shifted a bit to the west. I'm expecting that it could even shift a little bit more to the west, affecting the east and northeast coast from the Space Coast up toward the Jacksonville area, and then later on in the week into the Carolinas. But first, we'll focus on Florida. So the spaghetti plots, most of them are in fact offshore, but there are a few, and I'll show you close up, that do impact central and northeastern Florida coast. So once again, this is what we'd seen over the past couple of days before the latest model plots moved this a little bit to the east. So we do still have a pretty wide area here that Dorian could take over the next several days. Now, we do have some hurricane watches and warnings. A hurricane warning in effect right now in the Fort Pierce area north of West Palm Beach, Martin County to Indian River County, and also tropical storm warnings rather from the Fort Pierce area, West Palm, and north of Broward County in Palm Beach County. Now, tropical storm watches are in effect for the rest of Palm Beach County and some of Broward County, close to Clewiston, but nothing in Hendry or Glades County. So no tropical storm watches or warnings in Southwest Florida as of now. And again, we do have a hurricane watch for the Melbourne area, the Space Coast, and also offshore of Palm Beach County. So we'll be watching this again as these watches and warnings will continuously be updated. Now, this is a very, very pretty picture. I wish I could say it was moving north and northeast, but here's your satellite view of Dorian, a well-defined eye, the outflow boundary nearly perfect, a symmetric storm. It's a Category 4, and this is what a Category 4 storm typically looks like with a pretty wide eye. Now, tropical storm force wind only around 100 miles outside of the center of circulation. That's good news. And hurricane force wind right now only about 30 miles per hour outside the circulation. So we talk about two models. We talk about the European and we talk about the American, which is the GFS. And typically the European, in my opinion, is a little bit more accurate. Now, a few days ago, this European model was all over the place, Southwest Florida toward Tampa. Well, I didn't buy that one, and the European model has changed. It does keep it over the Grand Bahama Island for quite some time. It's going to stall right there and then move northward along the ridge, and you can see in the Jacksonville area, it comes pretty close to southern Georgia and northeast Florida. Then it moves up the coast in the Carolinas. It could affect Cape Hatteras as well as the Outer Banks of North Carolina before it weakens and races up toward the northeast. It won't bring much rain, maybe into Cape Cod and into Boston, but all in all, it'll be sucked up into the Canadian Maritimes, and then that'll be the end of Dorian.